This is Irontrader. It is hump day, which means it is crude day. Now, the API report came out last night, and you had a nice draw on crude at about 4.2 million barrels. You had a good draw on gasoline, over 2.4 million barrels. You had a little bit of a build in distillates, but that's common this time of year. And you had a little bit of build in Cushing at about 800,000. So now remember, the EI report for crude oil will be out today at 10:30. We'll see if it all jives together. Okay, we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, at crude oil, and at natural gas. And then we'll take a look here at the old Nasdaq, the NQs. Now, yesterday at 6 o'clock, the NQ just started rallying very, very hard based on that U.S. and China are going to have talks in Switzerland this weekend here over the tariffs. So I'm telling you right now, if they can get something worked out between China and these countries, you're going to have a rip your face off rally here. Okay. This video is for information purpose only, not a recommendation to buy, sell any stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Okay, here we have Bitcoin. Now you can see here how nicely this is just rallying right on up here. Again, I say at 6 o'clock, I'm sitting here watching the futures, and man, they just started ripping. Okay, so I'm in that TQQQ, and that ripped up. It was at $56, and it got over $58, just like almost instant. So I'm saying if they can make some kind of a deal on these tariffs, everything's going to rip, including this Bitcoin. This looks very, very, very promising here, okay? So what we're looking here for the upside, we've got as high as 98,200, okay? So what we're watching is this price channel right here, okay? That 98,615, that's going to be the key. We got to see what the reaction is. Is it going to break through, or is that going to be a double top situation? So just watch that 98,615. If we can crack above that, then we'll take this price channel, come right across here, and that's what we're looking for, is that 99,765. Then we'll bring this price channel across. We're looking at that 100,765. We'll bring him right across, and then we got that 102,875. Now, if she keeps right on ripping up here, we got a lot of nice targets, okay? You got 103,870. We up here 104,920. We have 106,570. We come up here at 106,945 level. Then we have that 110 or 150 breakout. Now we crack above that. 115, 120 is going to be very, very much in the old target. Now you can see here at the RSI here, we never got to an overbought condition. We came right on down here, and now we're rolling right back up. But we got to see what the key is, what the reaction here is, if it can close above that key 98,615. That's going to be very, very crucial. Now, your green is over your red here, so this is looking still very, very nice. And on the weekly here by Friday, this is looking also very, very nice here. Is this holding that there is 21 day, okay? So you can see how last week we held it. This week here so far that we held it, and we have this sideways action, okay? But this is 21 days, very, very key on a closing basis by Friday. And actually, a sideways action is going to let this 8-day do a little catch up here, okay? See how it crossed over, now wants to cross right back up again. We get that crossing above that 21 day on a weekly chart. Wow, we're going to be rocking right towards that 110 level, okay? Very, very nicely. So right now, this chart looking very, very bullish. We actually almost have like a bull flag situation going here on the weekly, and that's also very good. RSI, plenty of room to run here. Green hasn't crossed over to red yet, but once it does, then we get this kind of a reaction, and this is the result. Okay, so always remember that. Keep that MACD on your radar. Same way here with the RSI. So on the downside here, what we want to do is now we filled this gap. Okay, so I was pointing out this gap. See the bottom of that candle, 96,885. Okay, and then the top of this candle, 96,455. So now this gap here is filled with this candle. Okay, so now this is going to become support level here. So you want to watch that 96,885 and then 96,445, but it doesn't have the meaning now because the gap is already filled. But the key level here is going to be this 95,988. That is your 8 SMA here. If that's lost, we'll come over here to today's low, 95.70. We'll come down here, 93.945. Then yesterday's low, 93.685. And then we'll be looking for the old 100-day there. Oh, sorry about that. Looking for this 100-day here at 92.991 level. But right now we have this sideways action. So we're trading here between this 8-day, which is very nice here, and we have that 98,615 on the upside. So I own IBIT, and I also trade this daily, okay? It's really a good trader. Now you can see yesterday it closed at 53.97. Right now it's ready up to 55.09 level. Okay, so very, very nicely. As I say, always watch those futures. That's going to be the key. Okay, they can make a deal in China here. Woo, that's going to really rock and roll here, the old market. Okay, let's take a look here at crude and natural gas. All right, here we have daily charts, crude and natty gas. Okay, so let's just take a look. Now, you can see here we had this bear flag situation into the 21-day. Very, very nice. This is why you trade the charts. Now, it sold right off here. Okay, we had this bottoming tail and it looked like it was going to rip up here, but we had the red candle and then she sold off. However, look how nice this is. It came down to 55.30. We're looking for 55.12. Nice double bottom with a higher low. Very, very nicely. And now we're moving on up here. Okay, so yesterday we had a really nice candle, went up into the 8-day, and then it pulled back. Today now we're above that 8-day, but look how it did. It made a higher high, okay, and a higher low here so far. I know it's way early, but we've got to see how this is all going to shake out. Now, there's a big brouhaha going between India and Pakistan. There were some missiles that were sent there and planes shot down the whole 9 yards. So remember, any kind of a disruption, any kind of a wars, anything that's a catalyst will take crude oil much higher, especially at these low levels here. Okay, so just remember that. Plus, we have the summer driving coming in, and now you can see here where you have the 4.2 million barrel draw there on the API report, and also here, okay, read an interesting article on how the price of oil is so low here now, and who's buying it is like China, and they're refilling their SPRs, and probably the United States will be doing the same thing at these low prices. Okay, so always remember that just because you have they say, oh, the economy is slowing. I don't believe that the economy is slowing. I think that's nothing but bullshit. But again, what they're looking at is, oh, the tariffs are going to do this, the tariffs are going to do that. But really, when you get down to the prices, then everybody's looking at 55. Hell, let's load up here at this kind of a price. Okay, so there's a lot to take consideration. That's why I always like trading crude oil, because it's always in play. You don't have to wait for earnings. You don't have to wait for this. You have to wait for that. It's always in play. Okay, so let's look at the downside here first. Okay, so we're watching that 59.16. That is going to be key. That is going to be your 8 simple moving average here. Now, again, if that is lost here, we come down to today's low, 58.94. We'll come down to the bottom of this candle, 57.74. We'll come down to yesterday's low. You're looking at 57.03. Then we have 56.39, and then your retest down here at 55.30. And then here's the big boy at 55.12. We lose this, you're looking at 53, 50, 47, and possibly 43 level. So we got to see if this is just a relief rally. But when you see this on the chart, you see this double bottom, that tells you that you got to get out of your short position. And if you don't want to take a long, just be patient. But I took a long here, so we're going to see how this all going to shake out. Now, upside, what we're watching is today's high. You're looking at 60.26 level. But then this is going to be the key, is going to be this 21-day at 60.95. Now, you can see how the 21-day here is now starting to flatten out. So if we can get above this 21-day at that 60.95, well, then what we're going to be looking for, we're going to be looking right on top of here, looking at 62.07. We'll come up here, 63.31. We have 63.92 level. Okay, we come up here, you're looking at 64.36. We have 64.87, and then we'll be looking for this 50-day at 64.95 level. Okay, now again, if we get above that, then we want to look to the bottom of this candle. You're looking at 65.22 level. But right now, we just want to watch that 50-day 64.95 if we can get above this key 21-day. That's going to be everything. But look how the 21-day, now again, this is seasonality in play here. We can at least get a rally up here, and then we can see what's going to happen. What's the reaction? At the 21-day, you break above that, and we see what the reaction is at that 50 SMA here, okay? Nicely. Now, you can see here, RSI only sitting at 41, plenty of room to run. The green isn't over your red yet, but, we're looking here pretty good here now, so let's just see how this all shakes out. But just watch that 8-day on a closing basis. Very, very key, and watch this during the day, this 21 days, see what the reaction is if it gets there. Okay, natty gas. Well, we're all moving here nice. Now, I always point out this 8-day, as long as that price can hold that 8-day, we're still very, very good shape. Now, you can see here, we gapped up. This is that contract roll, kept right on rolling, went into the 100-day, again, over the 100-day, but it couldn't close above, came down, and what did it go? Right to the 8-day, and the 8-day held nice. Today, so far, 8-day holding nice, okay? So downside, this is everything. Geez, I don't know why I keep doing that. All right, here we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so anyway, 3.47. That 8-day, that's going to be very, very key. Okay, that's going to be good support. And then your 21 right below it at 3.44. Now, if we lose that, we're going to be looking at the bottom of this candle here at 3.26. And then we'll come down to the 200-day at 3.12. Now, again, that's lost. We have a gap here, 3.15, 2.98, and then you retest down here at 2.85. But right now, look how nice that is. See? That's why you trade the charts. Okay, as long as it holds, we're doing good. Now, upside, we were looking to yesterday's high at 3.64, and then we're looking at old Hondo over here at 3.71, and then we have 376 is your 50-day rate above that. Okay, now we can start getting above that. Then we come up here. Okay, you got 3.82. We have 3.93 level. Okay, then we're gonna be looking up here. You have 408. Okay, we have 415, 420, and then this is going to be the big retest. If you can get up there, this is that 425 because this was the double top, and you need to break above that in order to go higher. Now, just remember when you have a rally here, if they can get some solved with these tariffs, you have a rally, everything is going to move right back up here again. Okay, so your oil is going to move up, natural gas is going to move up, and I think gold and silver, those commodities are going to be moving down. Okay, so that's mostly like a fear factor, but let's just see if they can pull everything, together. Okay, let's take a look here now at the old NQ. Okay, here we have the old Nasdaq, the old NQ here. Okay, so I always show you here at after pick close in the afternoon. There, I always go through the charts, your Dow, your Nasdaq, and your S&P. But here, this is the futures, and this is what I always want to pay attention to. Right now, the NQ is up there over 100, looking very, very nicely. Now, this is here what happened yesterday, okay? So it came down. We went right up to that 200-day. As you can see, that 302 is going to be very key. Went right into it, okay? And then we sold down here. And then yesterday, Tuesday, this was Monday, and then this is Tuesday, came down. But you notice that we held that 8-day, just like we've held it here, okay, and held it here, okay? So this is looking very, very nice. Now, yesterday, you can see here where we came down, and then we just spiked right high, up higher as soon as that news broke. Okay, now this is the Thinkorswim platform, so we get the global news. So if you don't have that, you can go to Benzinga, and on Benzinga Pro, there's this guy that does all the work there. His name is Charlie. This guy is just completely off the hook. It's a pay service. So if you just go to Benzinga Pro, you want to sign up for that. This guy is awesome. But we have the global news, and as soon as that news hit, I can see that the future is just running right up here nicely. Okay, so now what we're watching on the upside is we're going to be watching this 20,133 level. Okay, then we'll come up here to the top of this candle here. You're looking at 20,201, and then 20,302. That's going to be the big to do right there. Okay, that's that 200 SMA here. Okay, for simple reason is look what here, and then look what happened in the past. Okay, so always look to the past and the situation. Same way when it came right into it and then pulled right on back. Now, if that can get above that, then we have this 20,584. That is your 100-day, and then we can have to see what happens after that. But again, there's so many good, really. Let's bring those price channels across here. Look how far you can run up here, all the way to this 22,450 level. Okay, but again, we don't want to get excited. That 200-day is the key. You get above that, then we'd be looking right there for that 100-day at 20,584. Now, on the downside, we got to hold this 8 estimate. That's key, 19,852. If that's lost, we're going to come looking right for that 50-day at 19,509. And then we'll be looking here for that 21-day at 19,133. Okay, now you can see here, 56, plenty of room to run. Green over red, looking very, very good here. The key is you have to close above this 200-day, then you can go higher. But right now we're holding that 8-day, and the Nasdaq is looking very, very good. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here midday trading. We'll take a look at some stocks. Now remember, before you open there today, you have a lot of earnings. You got Uber's going to be doing it. I did a video on Uber yesterday at midday trading. If you want to take a look at that, Disney's going to have their earnings. So we got to see how this is all going to shake out, and then we'll have plenty of earnings there after the close. Remember, trade what's in front of you, not what you want.